Welcome, friends, to another action-packed but still erotic episode of A Crep from the 80s. I am your host, Chris Seaver, and this one, I guess, is long overdue. People seem to like when folks just in general do their collection videos, and this is a mini-part collection series, I guess. I put up my horror movie Blu-rays and 4K collection a little bit ago, so that's on the channel. It's been here for a while. And then the second part is I'm doing my sci-fi, fantasy, and I guess adventure, maybe action adventure, perhaps. I don't know. Stuff in the realm of fantastical and science fiction-y and sci-fi adventure and things like that. And then I'll do probably superhero and action, and then I'll do comedy. But here we are. So we're going to do the sci-fi, fantasy, adventure stuff. And I have said before, if you're new to the channel, hello, thanks for watching. But the type of collector that I am, my collection isn't vast. It's very precise. It's very clean. I am not a collector just to collect. I don't do that. If it's a movie that I like or love, then I want to own it in my collection. I am also not I don't care about steelbooks. I don't care about slipcovers. I don't care about any of the ancillary bullshit when it comes to these releases. First and foremost, all I care about is the movie and the special features. I am a special features whore. I love that shit. But like the other crap, nah. It's a waste of money and it's a waste of resources as far as I'm concerned. Some of the things that I get, that's the only way you can get it. So that's why I have some of the, certain steel books or special cases or whatever the fuck. But in the end, I don't care about that stuff. I am a 70s baby. I'm an 80s kid. I still hold the 80s as the greatest decade of all time. Hands down. The greatest pop culture decade of all time. Pop culture truly, as far as I'm concerned, started in the 80s. We can debate that all you want, but we're living in a time that is still aping the 80s to this day. So you'll lose. The 80s is the greatest decade of all time. And so I was a sponge, and I was also a movie kid. My parents and my family, uncles, aunts, we were big movie people, always went to the movies, and it was always genre. I'm not a drama guy. I don't give a shit about dramas or period pieces or, biopics, any of that dumb shit. The drama can be wrapped in a genre bread, that stuff, yes, but you're not gonna find me enjoying Saving Private Ryan or Forrest Gump or any of this dumb shit. Oppenheimer, hell no. You want to know the story, read the historical facts, watch some documentaries. I don't need to watch a bunch of fucking actors pretending that they know the trials and tribulations and the hardships of this bullshit. It's silly to me. But bring on the genre. Bring on that. Give it to me. Anything heightened, anything outside the realm of reality, or even if it's in the reality, as long as it's heightened, as long as it's a movie, entertainment, because that's what a movie is for, to entertain you. Bring it on. And that's just me. You got, everybody loves movies the way that they love movies, but this is me. And so I soaked it all up, everything that I loved, and I still love it to this day. So there's going to be a lot of, older films in my collection. Some modern, but again, it's a few and far between. It just depends. As film lovers know, it's an iffy time. It can be hit or miss as far as the quality of some of the modern films. But they're out there, and I still look forward to the stuff. It's just sometimes it doesn't turn out all right. To me, anyway. You guys can have your lists. You guys can have your collections and the things that you love and you like and you admire, and that's great for you. Don't come at me with, yeah, but what about this? If it's not in this collection, it's probably because I don't like it. So that's what you're watching. So hopefully you can get down with that and you can agree that people have opinions other than yours. So. All right, so let's start it. The Alien Quadrilogy. Let's face it, the best two movies are Alien and Aliens. Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, they're fine. Not the greatest. I actually prefer Alien 3 to Alien Resurrection, even with all its faults. But Alien and Aliens are classics to me. And yes, I do have Aliens, the 4K on pre-order. So, but it's a great set. Primarily, this set is to be enjoyed because of the wealth of special features. It was just like when the DVD set came out, I had that as well. But those special features were legendary. Just some great behind-the-scenes documentary material. So, yep. And then we got the Alien 4K. It looks great. If they do Alien 3 and Alien 4 in 4K, I will not be getting them. But, yeah, good stuff in the 4K. This is a very divisive film, but for me, it's rock and roll. I loved it. I love the concepts and the lore behind it all. Surprisingly, I agree with some of the concepts that are put forth in this film. You might be surprised, but I believe in some of those concepts, and we could have been planted here by the others. But anyway, Prometheus. I am a fan. This is the huge set with all the special features. This is also the 3D version. I still enjoy 3D. We have a 3D 4K projector. We do have a bunch of 3D movies. We have some great 3D glasses. So if the feeling hits us, we do rock 3D. So yeah, this is all the special features and the 3D version and everything. And then of course I have Prometheus in 4K. So, and for the most part, when I have these sort of double dips like this, it's probably because the 4K is not offering up as much stuff that's on the previous release. So the 4K is usually just because I want the movie in that 4K quality. But this has all the intense special features. So I gotta keep that shit. Okay, then we got Predator in 4K. Classic. Love the movie. They finally got the picture right with this damn thing. Predator 2 and Predators on Blu-ray. The Predator in 4K. I know a lot of people don't like this movie. Yeah, for me it worked. It's a fucking Predator movie, you know. None of them are ever going to be part one. So I have fun with the Predator lore, and I'm okay with it. So the Predator is in my collection. This is the closest thing that comes to part one, Prey, at 4K, and it's a fantastic movie. I mean, neck and neck, really. Predator and this are back to back. It's just, whew, magic. Alien versus Predator, I enjoy. I do not love, so I like it, and that's why we own it. Hate the second one, Requiem. I think it's abysmal. Don't even watch it. It's a piece of crap. And listen, Alien vs. Predator is kind of crappy, but there's enough in there that I enjoy. Let's see. Ooh, and then we got, okay. We got the Arrow release of RoboCop, one of my favorite films of all time. Classic. The only way to watch it is the director's cut. It's just how it is. And I like RoboCop 2. So I've got the Scream Factory, RoboCop 2. I do not like RoboCop 3, so I don't own it. The Riddick films. So Pitch Black is probably my least favorite of the three. And Pitch Black, I saw first. Actually, I saw the premiere of Pitch Black in New York City with my cousin Casey. And we didn't know who the fuck Vin Diesel was, but he was there introducing the film with David Twohy, the director, who also wrote Critters 2, which is a classic in my estimation. And I like it. I like Pitch Black. But I don't like it enough to own the 4K. But I do like it. However, these two, Chronicles of Riddick and Riddick, I love. And if they can't come out in 4K, I'm going to get them. This definitely needs a 4K upgrade. But yeah, great films. And I'm waiting for that new one, Furia. He keeps, Diesel keeps teasing it. Here's some classics, of course. E.T. This is the 4K of E.T. Yep, saw it in theaters with the whole family. Never forget it. It was a great experience, great theatrical experience. Whole fucking row, whole theater was sobbing. I still sob watching the movie. It is classic Spielberg. Love it, and it looks great in 4K. It really does. Spielberg produced one of the greatest films of all time, one of the two greatest films of all time. The third one, I've never liked, and I don't like it. And if it were up to me, it wouldn't be in this set. But it is. The Back to the Future films. Back to the Future 1 and 2 are so close. But Back to the Future just beats Part 2 out for me. Back to the Future is as far as I'm concerned, it's a perfect film. Right up there with Fright Night, 1985. It's a perfect film for me. I love it. I could watch it any day of the week. And it's flip-flop with Part 2. Part 2 at the time, it was the first movie that I saw like multiple times back to back in theaters. It was a record at the time. It was 6 times, and I just kept going that weekend. That was 1989, you know. I've beat that record many times over since then. But it was special to me. So, but yeah. But Part 3, poo-poo. Great set, 4K, baby. Another great set is Indiana Jones, 4K films. Not the biggest fan of Part 4, so I don't really watch it. I didn't mind Dial of Destiny. I don't own it yet. I probably will, because I liked it enough to own it, but I'm not chomping at the bit. I'll get it when I get it. You know, maybe when it goes down to like $10 sometime, maybe on 4K. My favorite is Temple of Doom, always has been. Saw it in theaters, was dressed up as Indiana Jones. I had fake stubble that my aunt put on with her makeup. I was 7 years old. Such a great fucking experience. I prefer Raiders and Temple. I like The Last Crusade, but it's not my favorite. Temple is for sure. Great set. Good behind the scenes stuff too on that 4K. Okay. Here's some stuff that you guys might find unappealing. So we got the Star Wars films. I do have Solo. I liked it. Didn't love it, but I do like it. And I like it primarily because it's a really fun sci-fi adventure film. I don't necessarily feel like it's a Han Solo movie, even though all the bits and pieces are there. He just is not a young Han Solo to me. But I love the characters. I like the adventure of it. So I own Solo. Definitely Rogue One. Great Star Wars film. Yeah. You know, maybe one of these days I'll upgrade to 4K, but I don't find it still looks great. The Blu-ray still looks great. This 4K projector and the 128 inch screen down here is, it's, negligible as far as the quality is concerned. Star Wars. Okay. So like I said, I was born in 1977. I am a Star Wars baby. Star Wars is in my blood. It was the first real toy line that I ever played with. Got my first toys of the Star Wars line from the Empire Strikes Back line in 1980. And it's just been going ever since. I love Star Wars. So this is the 4K. It's called 4K 77. It's a fan put together version of the film. And it's after having the despecialized stuff, it's the only way that I watch them. I do not like the special editions. And the only one special edition that I do own that I can sort of tolerate is Empire Strikes Back. Because they didn't fuck with it as much as he did the others. And so I can deal with it. And then I have the 4K of it. And then I have the Return of the Jedi, the original Return of the Jedi, by the same guys who did the 4077. This isn't the Harmy. The cases say that, but this is not the Harmy version of Return of the Jedi. This is the better version of Return of the Jedi. Again, the original, the one I saw in theaters, 1983. It's my favorite Star Wars movie ever. So yeah, there's that. Then we got The Force Awakens. I love this film. This is, the regular version and the 3D version on Blu-ray. I'm not 100% sure why I have The Last Jedi. I'm not really the biggest fan of The Last Jedi. And the same can be said about The Rise of Skywalker. And I think we have these because of the documentaries that are on them. Because I love the documentaries. I love the making of, and to see what was going on behind the scenes and what was on their minds putting this stuff together. But these two are definitely the weakest of the sequels, and to have such a great start with The Force Awakens and then to muddy it with these two, it's like, for the documentaries and special features alone, that's probably why I'm keeping these. But if it weren't for those to have on disc, I probably wouldn't own these. You're probably like, where's the prequels? I hate the prequels. I've never liked the prequels. Just like all of you, I was what was I? I was 22. I was, again, obsessed with Star Wars. It never went away from me. Waiting 16 years after Return of the Jedi to see a new movie. The anticipation was there. It was the greatest, most anticipated film of all time for a lot of us. And I went to see it. And I saw Phantom Menace 14 times in the theaters, trying to convince myself that I liked it and that it was good. And it's not. I do not own them. The only one that I can tolerate is Revenge of the Sith. And still, they're not for me. So, whatever. We got The Mandalorian. They only offered it in these steel books, which is fine. This is the 4K Mandalorian, Season 1. I'll get Season 2 at some point. I do like The Mandalorian a lot. Of course, I like that it's set after Return of the Jedi. And with Star Wars in general, I can't wait for the Acolyte. I want to get the farthest away from anything Skywalker or anything that we know. Toot sweet. Whether it be hundreds, thousands of years before the shit that is Phantom Menace, and whether it's 100 thousands of years after fucking the rise of Skywalker, give it to me. I want out of this timeline that they keep fucking messing with and muddying the waters even more. George fucked it up to start, and everyone just kind of keeps fucking it up. So, it's spotty. There's bits and pieces now that come out that I enjoy, and then there's a lot that I just do not like. And that's the end of it. I don't need to argue with anybody. I don't need to cause mischief. I don't need to tell you you're an idiot. You don't need to tell me I'm an idiot. It's just opinions, and we can move on with our lives because they're just films, folks. But it's just media. It's just entertainment. All right. Let's see. We got the Close Encounters. This was that big 30th anniversary set that came out back in the day. This is as old as me, 1977. So this is 47 years old, folks. I have the 4K. I have this set because of all the bells and whistles that are on this. Some of them they ported over to the 4K, which is good. But this is my favorite Spielberg film. I love this film. Aliens, UFOs, space, all of that stuff is a very big interest in my heart. Since I was a kid, I've looked up to the stars and just knew that we were not alone. And then I've had two experiences of my own, which some of you may have heard. But I'll be doing live stuff, so you can always ask me those experiences, and I'll tell them over again. Anyway, Close Encounters. Love it. Then we got Jurassic Park. Great Spielberg film. And the 3D is pretty good. This is both versions. Not bad. Not bad. We have these movies because of Katie, my wife, who likes these films. Jurassic World and Jurassic World 2. What is this? Fallen Kingdom. And then we did see the third one. I don't know. Jurassic World is fine. Fallen Kingdom, I like the monster aspects of it. There's portions of it that feel kind of like a fun horror monster movie. But, I don't really care about these films that much. I could watch Jurassic Park any day, but these guys, it depends. If Katie is like, hey, let's do a Jurassic Park marathon, then there we go. We both don't like the original Jurassic Park Part 2, whatever, Lost Kingdom, and we don't like Jurassic Park 3, so we don't own them. And you're going to see some of that stuff throughout these collections. It was the same with the horror stuff, too. There's stuff in there that I don't like, but if my wife buys it and wants it, then it's in the collection. So there you go. Another Spielberg, Minority Report. Pretty great science fiction flick based on the genitalia. Then we got Ready Player One, 4K. I love this film. I love the book as well. Very different, but I like them both. 80s. If you're an 80s kid, born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, you'll probably like the book, probably like the movie. I did anyway. My favorite, J.J. Abrams, Anything, and co-produced by Spielberg, and it feels like the two of them had a baby together, and they made Super 8. This movie is very, very special to me. I love this film. I've seen it countless times. I have a theatrical poster. Well, actually, I have the Drew Struzan-esque poster up in the Sci-Fi fantasy room. And I've had it forever. But I love the film. And there is a video, if you want to hear my thoughts on Super 8, there's a video down below, many rows down of my Super 8 thoughts and why I love the film so much. All right. So these, yeah. Two of these I like. One of them, it's more because my wife likes it a lot. Denis Villeneuve. The Arrival. Denis, he knows how to make a movie, doesn't he? The Arrival's good. I do like this movie. And, of course, all the implications and the story behind it and everything like that. Of course, I'm all about it. Give me more aliens. Give me more otherworldly... we are not alone. I like The Martian. Katie loves The Martian. I like The Martian. I love the idea that at some point in our time we will have humans on Mars, which is very cool and very exciting. She likes Passengers. I'm not the biggest fan of this movie, but she likes it. It's in the collection. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. Let's do this. I love this film. I love the anime. I love the manga. Alita. It's, the original title is Battle Angel Alita. They changed it. Alita Battle Angel. Not sure why. But it's a great film, great collaboration, and it's pretty close to the source material, folks. I don't know. I think they did a great job. Weta did an amazing job with the effects. It's a great looking 4K. Robert Rodriguez, James Cameron, it works for me. And there's been so much rumbling that they're going to continue this story, and I hope they do. So, love the film. JJ's Star Trek films. I enjoy them. I'm not a big Star Trek person at all. Growing up, my great aunt would always thrust Star Trek onto me. So I saw the original show. When the movies would come out, she'd always be like, let's go to the movies. New Star Trek. I'm like, okay, let's go. So I did see that first batch with the original cast. But they're just, I think my favorite out of that group is 4. Saving the whales and everything, you know. But These movies are more up my alley. They're more JJ making Star Wars movies in the Star Trek world. So I really enjoy these films. Really fun sci-fi adventure films. And they work for me. Even the silliness of the second one. It just works for me. Okay, I like this movie. I don't love it. I remember seeing it in theaters, The Matrix. And I did come out of it sort of saying, why is everyone freaking out about this movie? First, let me say that, like, in the early 90s, I was sort of, one, I'm a huge horror fan, but two, I would import so many VHS from different company catalogs that I had. And so I would import a lot of Hong Kong and Japanese films, action films and fantasy films and horror films. So I saw so much of the wire fu and stuff that was happening in those films. And so I had already seen that stuff. The bullet time stuff, there was a commercial that had used the bullet time before this movie. So, like, I don't know, it didn't... It's a fun movie. It just didn't blow me away like it blew so many people away. I guess the concept's cool. I like it, so we own it. And there you go. The other two I do not like. We don't own. My wife does not like the other two at all. So there you go. Matrix is what it is. Matrix. Okay, we got Avatar. This is the 3D version. And then we have the 4K version of the first movie, and then we've got the 4K version of the sequel, The Way of Water. I love the Avatar films. James Cameron, my man. James Cameron. Always bet on JC. Great films. Amazing Weta special effects. I mean, just amazing. And to see these films in IMAX 3D, mind-blowing. And the 3D looks incredible here at home as well. I also have a different version of Avatar, which is like a 4-disc set or some shit, but it's got like a shit ton of behind the scenes and special features, and that's why I have that one. 3D version, of course, 4K, and then 4K. So, love this series. I have since probably I was 12 years old. I first saw them on TV, and they would do like marathons. And I'm talking about the Planet of the Apes films. Planet of the Apes, I want them desperately on 4K. Please give them to me in 4K, please. The only one I don't like, and so I don't have it, I don't own it, is Beneath the Planet of the Apes. My favorites are Escape from of the Planet of the Apes and Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Amazing films. But I love them. I want them on 4K so bad. And what I do have on 4K is the newer Planet of the Apes films. Rise, Dawn, and War. 4K. Amazing trilogy. I'm salivating for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes coming out this summer. This May. Can't wait. Love them. Love them. Anyone want to do a Planet of the Apes marathon with me? I'm always down. Please. Taste me. Love this film. Dark City. Saw it in theaters. Me and my girlfriend at the time, we were probably like 2 of 5 that were in the theater seeing this film. And this is another reason why I wasn't so like mind bent on The Matrix. This came out like a year before The Matrix. The concepts are semi-similar. And they did some of the same kind of shit in The Matrix that they did in this movie. So again, I don't know. I think maybe because I had seen so much stuff that was in The Matrix that it just didn't blow my mind like this. But Dark City blows my mind. Dark City is amazing. The director's cut is on this disc. Great director's cut. And a lot of special features. I want this 4K. Give it to me. Give me a 4K. Please, someone. Independence Day. Independence Day. One of the greatest sci-fi adventure films out there. Little bit of V from 1983. Little bit of Trek, little bit of wars, little bit of everything in this. Sci-fi alien madness. Fun stuff. I have not seen a comparison, so I don't know what the Blu-ray to 4K looks like. And that's usually how I make my decision. I track down, there's certain people on YouTube who will do like straight up, they'll pull the files from the discs and do real, side by side quality ratio versus the Blu-ray to the 4K Blu-ray. And that's how I make my decision as far as the upgrades are concerned. So I haven't seen the upgrade of Independence Day. We'll see. If it's a great upgrade, if it's miles above the Blu-ray, then I'll probably upgrade. Denis is back. Denis Villeneuve. Dune. Denis Dune. The proper Dune. The best you could probably get. Dune. Closer than the David Lynch Dune. Where David Lynch was stuffing so much of that into 2 hours and trying to make it make sense. This you can trust. Dune 4K, amazing experience. The IMAX was incredible. It looks amazing at home. And I've already got my tickets for the end of this month for the Thursday night showing of Dune 2 in IMAX. Can't wait. Bring it on. Then we got the Pacific Rims. Pacific Rim in 3D Blu-ray and the Pacific Rim Uprising in 4K. Both amazing films. Kaiju, big monsters, big robots. How can you go wrong? It boggles my mind people hate the second one. It's just so weird. So weird. I mean, it's it's a little dumber than Pacific Rim, but not by much. That's what these movies are. They're just dumb fucking fun. They're just explosive amounts of entertainment. And if you are a kaiju fan, if you're a Godzilla fan, if you're a fan of mech and all that stuff and big things doing terrible things to big things, these are the movies, man. 3D. This is probably one of the best 3D presentations for the home I've ever seen. And it's usually the only way I watch it at home. What this one gave me was seeing all the action in the fucking broad daylight, which is something that I just can't stand in the Godzilla films, like the MonsterVerse stuff. And in this one, as much as I love this one, it's keeping the special effects prices down, of course, doing it in the pitch black, doing it in rain, low levels of light, but I want to see this shit. And Pacific Rim 2 gave us that. So I appreciate that. It's one of the things I love about Godzilla versus Kong is, Adam Wingard finally gave us some fucking, some monster action clear as day, so you can actually see the monster action. Great. Ooh, here's some movies that, okay, here's a few that, like, they're not for me, but they're in here. Well, these two are. I like these movies. The two Sherlock Holmes movies, Robert Downey Jr. I like these flicks. Fun. I like his portrayal. District 9, great film. Great film. Now these I don't really like that much, and we have them because of my wife. The Mummy is fine. It's fine. And these two Men in Black films, I don't like the Men in Black movies. But she does. So we own it. Ooh, I love this film. Another theatrical experience for me that was amazing. Very few people in the theater, but 4K of Starship Troopers. Great film, great special features. Another Verhoeven classic. We both love this. This is one of Katie's favorite films, but I also love the film. Luc Besson's The Fifth Element. Looks great in 4K. Another Luc Besson film that lots of people did not like or they just didn't see, but boy, did I love it. This is super fun, super imaginative, based on a French comic book, Valerian, in 4K. This is just super fun, super creative, the effects are great, the 3D looked fantastic, and the 4K looks flawless. So. Okay, so here's a couple adventure films. Not that I don't hate these films, but I don't particularly hold them in high regard like my wife does. She really loves them. Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile. They're fun. I certainly rented them growing up, but it just, I'll watch them if Katie is like, hey, you want to put them on? We'll do it, but they're not for me. Ooh, people hate this movie. I love it. Another Luc Besson film, but I think it's great. Again, super imaginative. It looks delicious. 4K. Such a beautiful disc. Lucy. It's ridiculous, but boy, is it fun. Elysium. Another Neil Blomkamp film, the director of District 9. I dig it. I think it's fun, man. I like these sci-fi crazy worlds, man. This sci-fi adventure, the sci-fi fantasy of it all. It works for me. I don't know. It worked for me. This movie, hands down, one of the greatest sci-fi action films in the last 20 years. For me. Live, Die, Repeat. All You Need Is Kill. Edge of Tomorrow. Whatever you want to call it. It's great. Countless times I've seen this freaking movie. I've seen the side-by-side as far as this and the 4K. Negligible as far as I'm concerned, so I don't need to get the 4K. But goddamn, this movie's amazing. I love this movie. Whew! Serenity. Great movie. The continuation of Firefly. Great TV show. Joss Whedon. I love the world. I love the characters. And this was a great movie. Classic. Liked it since I was a kid. Seen it countless times. And this is The Wizard of Oz. This is the 1080p version. It also has the 3D version. But, it's a classic. I love it. I love the story. Another classic, The Never-Ending Story. Folks, guess what? This is 40 years old. 40 years old now. Celebrating an anniversary. The Never-Ending Story. Look at that. 1984. I was 7. I loved it. Another film I love. It's a classic as far as I'm concerned. 1985's Explorers. Joe Dante. If you haven't seen the film and you love kids' adventure films, 80s kids' adventure films, if you love The Goonies, if you love sci-fi, watch Explorers. Ethan Hawke's first acting anything. It's a great film. As far as I'm concerned. I know people don't like it, but I do. Another film that is very divisive, but for me it works. It always has. It's probably because I enjoy the humor of the Pythons, Monty Python, that group. But I love Time Bandits. It's really fun, weird, silly, nonsensical. The ending is hilarious to me. And a great song, Dream Away by George Harrison at the end of this film. Sticks with you, man. Great song. Time Bandits. First time I saw this film was my aunt had a Laserdisc machine. And this was probably, when did I see this? Probably around 84, 85. I saw this, and I would go into her room and sneak watch a lot of her Laserdiscs. And Time Bandits was one of those. Love it. Another classic, as far as I'm concerned, Willow. Love this film. Did not like the sequel series on Disney Plus. Thought it was pretty wretched, actually. I had high hopes, but no wonder it was canceled. But the movie's classic. Another classic. Another movie. Oh my gosh. Folks, another movie celebrating 40 years. The Last Starfighter. This movie's great. This movie is great. I don't care how bad the special effects were. They were bad then. I knew as a kid they were fucking bad. But I wanted to be in this movie. I love this movie. So, 1987, this movie came out. I was 10. I went to the theater with my buddies. We went to see this thing, and I don't think any of us liked this movie coming out of that theater. We were all just so confused and I think kind of put off by the whole experience. I know I was. But Masters of the Universe, the Dolph Lundgren film from Canon. Now, years would go by until I was like in my 20s where I would like watch it again and find some entertainment, find some joy out of it. I know how bad it is, but I really like it. I really dig it. So I have the movie. The property I love. Masters of the Universe is top. But we need another movie. And thankfully, Travis Knight, the director of Kubo and the Two Strings, the executive producer of Coraline, Paranorman, and the director of Bumblebee, looks like he's now the director of Masters of the Universe for Amazon. I hope that sticks. All right, you guys, listen. If you know me, you know my love of this company, this man, Jim Henson. I love the Muppets. I love Sesame Street. Anything Muppets, Fraggle Rock. That man was a genius. That company, the people who work at Henson, geniuses. I love them. So yeah, I gotta have the 4K of Labyrinth. Great film. And The Dark Crystal. I don't know why I don't have the 4K of this. I will get it at some point. But I love The Dark Crystal. This movie, in the theater, I was like mesmerized. There was a bar that was in front of where the screen was. This was a second theater. It was only a two-screen theater in Wellsville. And it was playing in the top theater. And it was a really funky, the top one was a really funky layout. And there was this odd like bar that was in front of a stage and then the screen. And I remember just hanging on that bar, mesmerized, watching The Dark Crystal. And my great-grandmother is the one who took me to see it. She hated it. She hated she just didn't get it. She thought it was spooky. She just was like, she thought I was scared, but I wasn't at all. I was just I've never been scared by this shit. So Dark Crystal is amazing. Labyrinth is amazing. Another one, Princess Bride. So good. Another 80s fantasy classic. My wife loved this movie as well. We just went to see that with Carrie Elwes doing a Q&A. I love this movie. Some people, I don't know, like it's interesting. Like another theatrical poster that I have hanging up in my fantasy room, my sci-fi fantasy room. Legend. This is the Arrow release of Legend. It's got both the theatrical and the director's cut. I prefer the theatrical because I really love the Tangerine Dream soundtrack. That's what I grew up with. But I love Legend. I always have since I was a kid. Lots of people don't like it, or they haven't seen it, or it's a slog for them to get through. Not for me. I think it's highly imaginative. And the making of, fantastic. Same with Labyrinth and Dark Crystal. Those making of documentaries are sublime. So fucking good. And Legend is right up there. Ridley Scott, baby. Hook. Steven Spielberg's Hook. I really dig this movie, man. Hook and Dragonheart. Both Katie and I like Dragonheart. There is a 4K of this, but I haven't seen there is a 4K of Hook too, but I don't know. I don't know if, it just depends. I'm very, very spotty with the 4K. It just depends. But great movies. Okay, so this I just got. One of my favorite films of all time. The first movie. Second one's okay. And then you got Red Sonja as the, I guess, unofficial third Conan movie. But he's not Conan in it because of some rights bullshit. But he's Conan. So I just got this set. This is the beautiful, wonderful Arrow release 4K of Conan and Conan the Destroyer. Now, why do I have this if I'm not a big fan of box sets and all the bullshit that comes with it? I did order just Conan the Barbarian for 4K, and they kept canceling that order. Everywhere I was pre-ordering it, they just kept canceling it. But they weren't canceling, and they weren't making the set disappear. There could be several reasons for this. I happen to believe it's greedy purposes, and they just want people to buy the set because of the price. Who knows? And so if the only way that I was going to get the damn movie in 4K at that point was to get this set, then so be it. The set ended up only being like $45, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I have not dipped into this yet, but I have seen the comparisons, and it's crispy. I can't wait. But I love Conan the Barbarian. I love Arnold's Conan. Oh, this is more modern. This is modern, but I really enjoyed it. It was a nice surprise. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, the newest film. It's in 4K. Really loved it. I love the animated show, the animated 80s show, Wink, that's in the film. Really dig that a lot. I just love the performances. I love the whole vibe of it. I like how it was a campaign. The movie was set up like a campaign, and all the characters were characters in a game. I really enjoyed that, and it worked for me. I like it. Okay, let's do this. So the Lord of the Rings extended editions Blu-rays. This is the first Blu-ray set that came out of the extended editions, and this has all of the appendices. This is all just like the DVDs that we all had that had the hours upon hours of special features. It's all ported over on this set, and I'm keeping this set just for all of those special features because I got the 4K versions, and the 4Ks look, as far as I'm concerned, they look beautiful. I know there's some rumblings out there of people who didn't really appreciate the transfers, but they worked for me. So you got that going for you. Now, I do have the Hobbit films. I like them. I don't love them. But I do have them in the extended editions. Again, it's the only way you should even be watching these films. I will not upgrade these films. Again, the special features, the making of these films are more entertaining than the films themselves for this trilogy. But I still enjoy them. It's still fun. Some great performances. It was great to see, Ian McKellen back as Gandalf, and it just, Peter. They shouldn't have been made the way that they were made, and whatever. You can go on forever about them, but I have them. I do like them. And when we do marathons, we do watch them. And we marathon them every single year. Only extended editions. We got the Harry Potter films, Blu-ray, the Blu-ray sets. My favorite is part 3, but I like them all. My least 2 are 1 and 2, but I dig them. So these are the Pirates films. I enjoy them. 1, 2, and 3. I don't have the rest. I could care. I really don't. They're fine. They're not for me. These 3, for me, are good. My favorite is 1. But the other 2 are super fun. 2 is way more fun than 3, but I like them. They work for me. I will not be upgrading. I hear the upgrades for the 4K are terrible, so I won't be doing that. This is the only Narnia movie that I like that came out. The first one. This is super fun. This was a hell of a theatrical experience in 3D. Beowulf, the Robert Zemeckis film. Super fun for me. And like I said, it was me, Casey, and our buddy Travis at the time. We went to see this. We were in Indiana. And the 3D presentation in an IMAX. It was a huge IMAX screen. Huge. And it was amazing. It was pretty spectacular. Really fun movie. Okay, now we're getting into my Godzilla collection. So I have, here, let's do, so we got, first let's do this. This is the Rankin and Bass King Kong Escapes. Really fun, really cheesy, really ridiculous. And surprisingly, looks pretty great on Blu-ray. The Gamera films, the 90s modern, the trilogy, spectacular. These films are so good. I will at some point end up getting the new set from Arrow, not the older ones, but I will get these. Some of this is way better than Godzilla. There's some. This is spectacular. This trilogy is spectacular. Then we got the set from the Criterion collection of the Godzilla, the Showa era. It's all right here. You can get the big book set, which I have. I have the book, but there was somebody on eBay that turned them into these handy cases so that you can put them on your shelves. And so the book went in a bookshelf, and these are all the discs are right in there, nice and snug. And just add them right into the collection. So that's what I did. And then we've got the Godzilla vs. Biollante. And then we've got all the double features. Huge Godzilla fan, have been since I was a kid. Got all those. And then we've got Kong Skull Island. Amazing film. Godzilla 2014 in 3D, in 4K, and then 4K. Like I said, I own all the Godzilla movies except for Shin Godzilla in 1984/85. Depending on what version you've seen back then. But those two movies I do not like. And so they will not be in my Godzilla collection. -1 will 100% be in my collection when that hits 4K. You damn right. Okay, so this is interesting. Mixed bag here. Well, first of all, classic. Transformers, 1986. This theatrical experience was interesting. There was a kids' party at the theater, so it was packed, but there was balloons and there was just like noise and everything. And so many kids were crying when Optimus Prime died. I did not. That doesn't move me. It doesn't. I was very cognizant even back then. I'm 9 years old watching this film. It's a cartoon, so it didn't really. I don't know. For me, I was like, well, I'll watch Transformers when I get home from school. Transformers is gonna keep going. I don't know. I love Optimus Prime, but it just didn't. It was a cartoon to me. It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. But I love the movie. I think the movie is great. So here we go with the Bayverse, the Bayhem of these Transformers films. Let me say this. I love Michael Bay. Have always been a fan of his since Bad Boys. There's a couple movies that he's made that I do not like. But for the most part, I am not a Bay hater. I bring on the Bayhem. It's Bayos, baby. The best movie that he did in those Transformers movies that he did 5 of them, is the original Transformers film. It's the best of the bunch as far as I'm concerned. As far as the Bay films go. And I do have 2. And here's the thing. Here's the reason why I have these movies. 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So 2 is pretty rough, but there's some spectacular stuff in 2 as far as visuals. 3 is super fun. The Battle of Chicago is pretty awesome, and it looks amazing in 3D. Home 3D for show. Now these two are rough, and if it weren't for the special features, because again, these special features on these Transformers movies are pretty spectacular. But these movies, I did not buy these. Both of them were gifted when they originally came out in stores. They were gifted to me. There's some sequences in the films that look pretty good. And the IMAX shot stuff in this movie is wild visually. But they're pretty terrible. They're pretty terrible films, but great special features. Pretty terrible films. And that's really the only reason I would have them. I do not watch them. But I tell you what I do watch. Talked about Travis Knight before. Travis Knight, the director of Bumblebee, Kubo and the Two Strings, head of Leica Studios. Bumblebee is what the whole Transformers movies should have been. The whole universe, the whole start of it should have been this. I love this. Takes place in the 80s. Great story, great characters, great visuals. Cybertron, the bots looking other than Bumblebee, the bots looking how the bots are supposed to look. Great film. And then, so, Rise of the Beasts. Here's the reason why I have this. When I saw it in theaters, I liked it, and I thought it was a good mix of what they did with Bumblebee and what Bay did. And I was like, okay, I can get behind this. The story is still a little bit and the dialogue, but I really liked the visuals. I don't care about the beasts at all. At that point in my life, 90s anything for me is real tough. If you've been a fan of this channel, you know that I'm not a fan of the 90s in general, the decade of the 90s. Beast Wars, any of that shit wasn't for me. I was in my teens going into my 20s when Beast Wars was a thing. I was still watching the original Transformers, the cartoons and everything, but not Beast Wars wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. It was for a new generation. So I don't care about any of the Beast stuff in the movie. But I like that at least the characterizations and the look of the bots was, again, more towards G1 and what they did with Bumblebee. So this was a gift. I got this for Christmas based on the fact that I loved it in the theaters. Recently watched it again when my buddy Billy was here after getting this. And I did not like it as much as I did when I saw it in theater. So I don't know if I'm going to hang on to this. It really depends. Maybe I'll give it another go at some point. Or if my son wants to keep it, we'll keep it, because my 17-year-old loves the Transformers world and everything. So I don't know. We'll see. But that's it, guys. That's it for my sci-fi fantasy adventure films in my collection for Blu-ray and 4K. Those are the movies that I have. Those are the movies that I like and or love. What do you think? What do you think of the collection? I'm sure there's so many of you like, what about this movie? What about this movie? I probably don't like it. So that's why it's not in my collection. There you go. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be doing a part 3 at some point, which will be superhero films and action films. And then I'll do a part 4 for comedy. Yeah, until then, we have some more stuff coming. So keep checking out the channel. There's so many videos on this channel for you to enjoy in the realm of, I'm a filmmaker, so there's stuff about my filmmaking and my movies. There's stuff about horror films, because I'm a huge horror fan. ska music, 80s music in general, toy collecting and toys, and my time living in the 80s, and all the things that I've recollected from my childhood or stuff that I've kept from my childhood. Just a variety of stuff on the channel for you to check out, and hopefully you'll dig. But there you go. Part 2 of my physical media collection, and we'll see you on another action-packed, yet erotically tinged episode of A Crep from the 80s.